SwayamPrabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello learners, welcome back to the course on AI in Human Resource Management. Today we move to the second module where we start discussing with all the aspects of AI in HRM in detail. In the first module, if you have observed, we have gradually introduced you to the topic of AI in Human Resource Management. We have looked into what are the different possibilities AI is bringing into the field of Human Resource Management. Today, we'll look into this thing in a deeper mode. We'll start looking into each domain. We'll start looking into each aspects of human resource management and how artificial intelligence is typically facilitating the different domains or different aspects of human resource management in general. I'm Dr. Abraham Cyril Issac. I'm an assistant professor at the School of Business, Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati. Now, when you look into AI in HR, generally, we start with AI in HR practices, and the first and the foremost thing that comes to my mind, if you want to have a good, healthy workforce, healthy in the sense not only physical but also mental, is the decision-making process. And this is where specifically I would like to start with the decision-making. Let's look into that. When you look into decision making, this has certain vital importance in the human resource management, in the HR capital generally. People feel empowered that they are part of the decision or they are part of a decision making body which ultimately frames policies or frameworks or let's say some rules, regulations, etc. So they feel empowered. So let's look into the fact that how AI is actually facilitating for that. Let's look into the evolution of the technology and specifically AI in the decision-making parameter. Now, when you are looking into the introduction to AI in decision-making, we have to start thinking of AI in terms of how it assists, how it enhances, or how it typically automates the decision-making process. So this can involve a range of techniques, including, let's say, data analysis, machine learning, predictive modeling, to help organizations and individuals make more informed and effective decisions. So when you look into the possibilities that AI brings in, it is humongous, especially to help organizations and individuals to be at their best in terms of informed decision making. Let's look into the evolution of AI in business decisions. The evolution of AI in business decision making has transformed how typically organizations operate, enabling them to leverage data to enhance strategic choices. So, if we want to understand the evolution, we have to go through the chronological overview of this particular evolution. Let's start from the early days, 1950s to 70s typically. When you look into the early days, we had the foundational concepts like artificial intelligence began with the rule-based systems and early algorithms. So, rule-based systems and early algorithms were part of this foundational concepts, primarily in academic settings. Now, when you look into this expert systems, we see that businesses experimented with expert systems, software that mimicked human expertise in specific domains like finance, manufacturing, providing recommendations based on predefined rules. Now, when you look into this particular chronology, we travel further, we go to the 1980s to 90s, increased data availability was the critical feature there. We look into aspects like data warehousing and statistical methods. Now, data warehousing is all about the rise of data warehouse that allowed businesses to actually store and analyze large data sets, leading to more informed decision making. So the quantum of data, this is typically evolved much higher, and this actually led to informed decision making. When you look into statistical methods, there are plenty, but businesses started employing these statistical analysis for typically market research, for predicting sales trends, and even customer behavior. So when you look into the market research point of view, when you look into the sales trend where increasing, decreasing, or the possible forecasting and even behavior. So there was a amalgamation of all these typical aspects when you looked into the statistical methods. Then came in 1990s to 2000 the machine learning. Machine learning emerges with the advent of the machine learning algorithms and predictive analytics specifically. So algorithms began to evolve from rule-based systems to machine learning models that could learn from data typically. Now when you look into predictive analytics, companies used it for risk assessment, customer segmentation, and even sales forecasting. So whether sales was going up, down, again like what we used in the previous statistical methods, it had a amalgamation of all these aspects. Now finally we come to the 2010s where you see integration of AI technologies. Now when you look into this integration of AI technologies, you have big jargons like big data and cloud computing that is coming into picture. We have the NLP, natural language processing, and we have the advanced analytics. When you talk about the big data specifically and cloud computing, you see that the explosion of big data and advancements in cloud technology provided the businesses with the infrastructure to process enormous data sets in real time. Now, this was something which was missing earlier. Data came in, as I've already mentioned, when you are looking into the 80s to 1990s specifically, we had the data warehousing. The data was quite bigger in terms of quantum. But here, we had an analysis that was going on in real time. So when you look into all the possibilities, especially natural language processing, AI began to understand and generate human language, improving customer interactions, let's say through chatbots, virtual assistants, etc. Now, when you look into this advanced analytics again, tools like data visualization platforms became more sophisticated, allowing for intuitive exploration of data and insights. So this is where we typically stand till the 2010s. Now, we move further from mid 2010s to 2020. This is also a significant era where we have the AI for automation. Businesses adopted AI-driven automation for routine decision-making process, such as something like supply chain management or something like customer service. So we have the AI for automation that came into existence there. Then we have the data-driven culture that emerged. Organizations shifted towards a data-driven culture where decisions were increasingly based on real-time analytics and insights rather than mere intuition. Then we have the present-day scenario, which is AI democratization, if I could term it like that. AI democratization, we have seen widespread adoption. AI tools have become more accessible to businesses of all sizes with user-friendly applications and platforms. The concern is there, ethical AI. Growing awareness concerning the ethical implications of AI has led to discussions around bias, around transparency, and to a certain extent around accountability in AI decision making. And finally, we also see a collaboration that's going on between humans and AI. When you look into hybrid decision-making models that have emerged, where AI typically assists human decision makers, combining data-driven insights with, let's say, human intuition or experience, this is what the collaboration I am talking about. So we have seen what is there now. Now let's also look into a possible glimpse of what would be the future. Let's look into the future trends. The possibility is that there will be explainable AI. For the people who don't know explainable AI, as AI systems, become more complex, emphasis is being placed on developing explainable models that allow users to understand the rationale behind the decisions. So this is a possible futuristic aspect or futuristic trend that is going to emerge with respect to AI. There is also this AI governance that is coming up big time. Organizations are focusing on developing frameworks that are responsible for the AI use, or responsible AI use in itself is a target, ensuring compliance with regulations and all the ethical standards of the particular region. Then we also have the augmented intelligence also being termed as a future possibility of this. The focus is shifting towards enhancing human intelligence with AI rather than completely automating decision making process. So this would be what would be termed as the augmented intelligence. So when you talk about the evolution, over the past couple of slides we have seen the evolution of AI in business decision making illustrates a trajectory from simple rule-based systems to sophisticated data-driven approaches that empower organizations to make informed strategic decisions. You are not looking into some small-term decisions. You are looking into essentially informed strategic decisions. So as technology continues to advance, the collaboration between AI and human intelligence is expected to shape the future of business decision making significantly. Continuous innovation, ethical considerations, and a focus on the transparency will be critical for successful integration of AI in business strategies altogether. Now let's look into some of the key aspects of AI in decision making. The first one would be definitely data analysis, which we have touched upon in the first module itself, but we'll have a small explanation here. When you talk about big data, AI can analyze large volumes of data that would be impractical for humans to actually process. When you look into some Excel files even, it goes over your head. So we are talking about large chunk of data which is typically impractical for humans to process, extracting insights that inform better choices. So this is what is the significance of big data. Now, how we do it, it's basically the pattern recognition. AI algorithms can identify patterns or even trends in the data that may not be immediately apparent, aiding in forecasting and strategic planning. So this is what one of the significant aspects of AI in decision making is, which is data analysis. Another possibility is the predictive analytics. When you talk about the predictive analytics, AI algorithms use historical data to forecast future trends, assisting organizations in proactive decision making. So when you look into the forecasting outcomes typically, you see that machine learning models can predict future outcomes based on historical data, helping businesses typically anticipate the market changes, the consumer behavior patterns, or operational challenges generally. Other possibility is a recommender system. You have the possibility of personalized recommendations. When you look into AI systems, it can suggest products, it can suggest you services or actions based on user behavior, preferences, and even to a great extent the historical data, what you are browsing into, what you are looking into, or what is that in your mind, improving user engagement and satisfaction. So this personalized recommendation is a time saver, is a lifesaver for many. When you look into other significant aspect, it would be optimization. Now this is one of the buzzword which has gained a lot of momentum, especially with the advent of AI and specifically in human resource management because of the resource allocation or the prudent resource allocation. So when you look into AI, it can optimize resource distribution in industries, be it logistics, be it manufacturing, be it finance, leading to cost savings and enhanced efficiency. When you look into scenario analysis, it's again another realm which we can delve into. AI can actually simulate different scenarios to evaluate potential impacts and help decision makers to choose the best course of action. Now, when you look into the key aspects of AI in decision making, you have to also understand and appreciate the possibilities of automation. When you're looking into automation, it is not mere some automation in terms of some machines coming into picture. It is also the possibility of decision automation and also workflow automation. What is this decision automation? In some applications, AI can make decisions autonomously. It could be something like, let's say, credit approvals. An example could be that. Credit approvals are something like fraud detection, reducing the need for human intervention. So this is what I mean by decision automation. Similarly, there is also a possibility of workflow automation where AI can streamline processes by automating the mundane or routine decisions, allowing human resources to actually focus on the strategic activities which are of greater impact. When you look into risk assessment, we have the possibility of identifying risk and mitigation strategies. AI can typically analyze data to identify the potential risks, enabling organizations to take proactive measures before issues arise altogether. Or AI can also suggest strategies to mitigate identified risk based on historical data and analysis. So these are some of the possible mitigation strategies. There is also a possibility of enhanced collaboration. When I'm talking about enhanced collaboration, I'm talking about decision support system where AI can augment collaborative decision-making tools, providing teams with real-time insights and recommendations based on comprehensive data analysis. There is also ethical and bias considerations that can come up as key aspects of AI in decision making, because when you look into bias mitigation, while AI can improve decision making, please note it's vital to address potential biases in algorithms and data to ensure fair outcomes. So this is what typically would be a better way out for AI, because you cannot simply eliminate or simply consider that there will not be any bias. There will be biases because it is only as good as the data it is trained on. So ethical and bias considerations and bias mitigation should be primary. So in summary, if you ask me the key aspects of AI in decision making, I will definitely say that AI in decision making enhances accuracy, it enhances speed, it enhances efficiency of choices made across various fields, providing valuable insights and supporting both human and automated process. That's it. I will also add a rider. It's essential to use AI responsibly and address ethical considerations to maximize benefits while minimizing the risks associated. So these are the typical aspects of AI in decision making. Now let's look into the types of AI tools for decision making. The first and the foremost one would be the data analytics tool. Now this is something which many of you might already have come across. Descriptive analytics, you have tools like Tableau, you have Power BI that summarizes past data to reveal the trends. For predictive analytics, you have software such as SAS and IBM Watson that use historical data to forecast the future outcomes. When you come into machine learning platforms, specifically for supervised learning models, you have tools like TensorFlow or scikit-learn that require labeled data sets to improve the decision making by recognizing patterns. For unsupervised learning, you have applications like K-means clustering that identify hidden patterns or groupings in data without prior labels. So these are some of the instruments, some of the aspects, or some of the tools or way to or approach to go ahead with the AI in decision making process. When you look into NLP, the natural language processing tools, for text analytics, You have tools such as IBM Watson, NLU, and Google Cloud NLP that extract insights from large volumes of text to informed decisions. For sentiment analysis, which will deal in greater detail in the coming modules, you have platforms that analyze social media or customer feedback to gauge public opinion or customer satisfaction. So, most of these tools we'll discuss in greater detail. When you look into reinforcement learning systems, typically you have the adaptive decision making tools that learn optimal strategies through trial and error, like OpenAI Gym for applications like game playing or robotics, are helpful in adaptive decision making. Towards the recommendation systems, you have, for collaborative filtering, you have tools like, companies like Amazon, Netflix to recommend products or content based on the user behavior and preferences. They use the tools for that. For expert systems, you have, for rule-based systems, applications that mimic human decision making by applying predefined rules such as MySyn for medical diagnosis. When you look into AI tools or the possibilities of AI tools for simulation and optimization, you have the Monte Carlo simulation, which is quite famous. Tools used for risk analysis and decision making under certainty. Example, the Palisades at risk, or the optimization algorithm, software that helps in resource allocation, that helps in scheduling, that helps in logistics. An example could be Google OR tools. So these are some of the typical simulation and optimization tools. We have some examples for visual analytic tools, especially for data visualization tools that help visualize complex data to facilitate quicker and more informed decision making, such as D3.js or ClickView. These are some of the visual analytics tools that are available. For collaborative AI platforms, you have some virtual assistants, chatbots and other virtual assistants, Microsoft Cortana, IBM Watson Assistant, that support the decision making by retrieving information and automating the routine tasks. When you come into the DSS, the decision support systems, we have some integrated platforms, systems that typically combine data, sophisticated analytics, and models to assist in making informed choices in businesses or medicine. Tools like SAP Business Objects or something related to that can be included. Tools like SAP Business can be included here in terms of the integrated platforms. Towards the forecasting, you have some time series analysis, approach, solutions that predict future values based on the historical data trends. Facebook Profit, Oracle forecasting could be some of the examples that actually go for forecasting tools like time series analysis approach. We have the cognitive computing tools where AI-based knowledge management is quite prominent, systems that augment decision making by mimicking human thought processes, what we have discussed like IBM Watson for various industry applications. We have some risk management tools. When you talk about risk management tools, tools designed to assess and mitigate risk using AI to identify potential issues before they typically arise. Examples could be, let's say, risk metrics or Palantir Foundry could be some of the typical risk management tools that are in use now. So, to conclude, I will say that these AI tools can significantly enhance the decision-making process, no doubt about it, by providing insights, by providing suitable predictions, by providing certain recommendations based on the vast amount of data available. So the choice of tool often depends on the specific requirements, what you have, the industry and the nature of decisions to be made. So when you look into these tools, a point which I will certainly re-emphasize in the coming module, please note, there are a lot of options available. There are a lot of tools that are available to you, and each of these tools have its own merits and again some disadvantages also. But that said, it is having a certain cost associated with it, each of these tools. So what are you typically looking into? What is your typical requirement? Based on that, if you can select your tool, that would be a better way to go ahead. Let's say your organization would require more of analytics, predictive analytics, then go for a tool that actually aids that. Your organization might be looking more into the risk analysis or risk mitigation approach, or get into some tool which is actually doing that. So basically it is a prudent decision, or it is always advisable to actually go for a tool which is as per your need or as per your requirement. So as an organization or as an individuals who are in the decision making body, you can be the best people to actually understand what is your current requirement and what is a typical tool that will actually help you. This will actually enable you to use AI in the right way, and also will try to help you to reduce the cost burden. Otherwise, you go with all the available tools. Now let's look into some of the benefits of AI decision making. When you are looking into AI in decision making, there are certain benefits that certainly come into your mind, and this has to be automatic. You see that there is a possibility of enhanced accuracy without any doubt. AI, the moment artificial intelligence models are there, it reduces human errors. So you're talking about this enhanced accuracy. It reduces human errors by relying on data, by relying on algorithms for decisions. So AI algorithms excel at processing vast amounts of structured and unstructured data. So identifying, let's say, complex patterns, identifying complex patterns and correlations that humans might otherwise overlook. So this capability leads to more accurate insights and predictions, reducing the likelihood of human errors and biases in decision-making process. Other significant benefit could be the cost saving, which I just mentioned now. Automation through AI typically reduces the operational cost. We don't have any debate on that. This happens essentially by minimizing manual interventions and optimizing the resources available. So AI optimization algorithms typically enable organizations to allocate resources more efficiently, whether in workforce scheduling, whether in supply chain management, or to a certain extent in project planning also. So by quickly analyzing availability and performance metrics, AI helps identify potential bottlenecks and ensures optimal resource allocation. There's another possibility of improved customer insights, another benefit of AI. When you're looking into most of the tools, we have seen that it gives you certain insights. AI analyzes customer behavior data to provide insights into trends and preferences, allowing for targeted strategies. So it provides organizations with actionable insights derived from comprehensive data analysis. So this capability allows businesses to better understand customer behavior, forecast demand accurately, and tailor marketing strategies effectively. Another significant benefit that you would obtain would be the agility in decision making. Now, this is significant because AI allows businesses to adapt to market changes quickly by providing real-time insights and recommendations. So AI can analyze data, can generate real-time insights, enabling organizations to make swift decisions in response to changing market conditions or customer needs in general. So by automating, let's say, the data analysis, AI typically eliminates time-consuming manual processes, allowing decision makers to focus on the strategic initiatives. Another significant benefit which people generally don't see is the 24/7 availability. It is taken for granted nowadays. But unlike the human decision makers, AI can operate continuously without fatigue, which is not the case, especially with the human decision makers. So this constant availability ensures that organizations can, make decisions at any time, enhancing responsiveness to emerging challenges or opportunities. When you also discuss the benefits of AI in decision making, we can look into features like scalability. What do you understand by scalability? As organizations grow, the volume of data they generate also increases exponentially. So AI systems can scale to handle large data sets efficiently making them invaluable for companies looking to maintain effective decision-making processes as they expand. You have a benefit of facilitating complex decision-making. You're not looking into simple decision-making because the data, the quantum of data itself is very high. So in situations where decisions are particularly challenging or they involve, let's say, numerous variables, AI can assist by providing simulations or, let's say, predictive analytics that clarify potential outcomes based on different scenarios. Better risk assessment and mitigation could also be another benefit. AI can evaluate various risk factors by analyzing historical data and identifying potential threats. So this capability enhances risk management strategies, allowing organizations to make informed decisions that mitigate financial losses, and it generally protects assets. So when you are looking into the benefits of AI in decision making, you also have consistency in decision making. Many a time with human decision makers, the problem is the lack of consistency. It could happen because of many reasons. If you think about it, maybe the people in the decision making process are changing. Maybe the situation or the context in which the decision making process is changing. Maybe the requirements of the decision is changing. Maybe it is urgent now, it was not urgent previously. Maybe the time frame of the decision making process is getting altered every now and then. Maybe the people who are associated with are having some vested interest at this point in time which was not there previously. So a lot of permutations and combinations can come in when the decision making is handled by human beings. But unlike that, when you look into AI in decision making, there is a consistency in decision making, and that is the beauty of having technology with you when you are actually looking into some critical aspects like decision making. You have the objectivity there. You don't have to deal with subjective aspects. You don't have to worry about the time constraints. You don't have to think of the professional attitude or aptitude that otherwise is essential for human beings. AI is AI. There is nothing called professional AI. So basically, you are looking into more of a sophisticated and consistent decision making as a benefit of AI in decision making. When you look into other benefits, you have the improved efficiency. No doubt about it, because you are looking into large chunks of data, analysis of greater amount of data. So AI streamlines the decision making by automating repetitive tasks and optimizing the workflow. So this efficiency typically allows relevant information being passed or analyzed quickly, reducing the bottlenecks in the decision making process and enabling higher productivity. Now, when we have discussed about the benefits of AI in decision making, we should also look into the challenges in adopting AI for decision making. Adopting AI for decision making can significantly enhance the organizational efficiencies. We just discussed that. But several challenges can hinder successful implementations, if you ask me. Let's look into some of these challenges in adopting AI for decision making process. One is the lack of strategic vision. When you're looking into organizations that often lack a clear strategy for integrating AI into the decision making process, there might be no defined roadmap. AI initiatives can actually become disjointed and they fail to deliver the expected results, and that is quite unfortunate. Establishing a strategic vision that outlines specific goals and use cases is vital for the successful adoption of AI in human resource management, specifically in decision making. When you look into another significant challenge, which is the data quality, many a time data quality and availability emerges as an issue. AI systems require high quality, accessible data to function effectively. So what happens is that many organizations, they struggle with inaccurate or incomplete data, which can typically undermine AI models regardless of their sophistication. So if you ask me, implementing robust data governance frameworks is crucial to ensure data quality and availability. Another challenge could be the integration with legacy systems, something which is very vital, and we'll be discussing that in greater detail in the coming modules. When you're looking into integrating these AI technologies with the existing legacy systems, it poses a significant technical challenge. Compatibility issues can come up, making it highly difficult to leverage AI capabilities without actually, let's say, overhauling the current infrastructure. Now, when you are looking into overhauling the current infrastructure, it is easily said than done, because look into the cost implications that may have. Utilizing middleware and APIs can help facilitate the smoother integration. Another significant aspect would be limited AI skills and expertise. That is also a concern nowadays. A shortage of in-house expertise in AI technologies can actually impede the adoption efforts. So many organizations nowadays, I see that they lack the necessary skills to implement and manage AI systems effectively. So developing targeted training programs or partnering with external experts can typically help bridge this skill gap. There are also some reliability and trust issues, if you ask me. There are problems that decision makers may face. They may be hesitant to rely on AI systems. It may be due to the concerns about their reliability, about the transparency. If AI decision making processes are not easily understandable, I feel it can lead to mistrust among users, so making them reluctant to adopt these technologies for critical decisions. We also have challenges, the like ethical and legal considerations, which happen to be the biggest discussion points. Actually, all these challenges are critical, but unfortunately ethical and legal considerations have taken the front seat. But if you ask me, all the challenges are equally relevant. When you look into this ethical and legal considerations specifically, the use of AI raises these ethical concerns related to privacy, related to data security. Potential biases in decision making algorithms can creep in. So organizations must navigate these challenges by establishing clear ethical guidelines and ensuring compliance with the relevant regulations. Another significant aspect could be cultural resistance. A lack of an innovative culture within the organization can hinder the adoption of AI technologies. Employees, let's say, may be resistant to change or fearful of the implications of AI on their role. So fostering a culture that typically encourages experimentation and learning is vital for overcoming this particular barrier of this cultural resistance. Another significant factor could be the cost of implementation. Many a time I've touched upon this cost. The initial cost, please note, associated with adopting AI technologies can be prohibitive for many organizations, encompassing expenses related to technology acquisition, related to talent recruitment and training programs. So a phased investment approach can help mitigate these costs by starting with pilot projects that actually demonstrate ROI before actually scaling up. When you're talking about ROI, there could be a difficulty in measuring the ROI itself. Organizations often struggle to quantify the return on investment, especially when AI initiatives are new, are staggered, or are new and are not much popular. I'll put it like this. It is challenging to justify expenditures on technology and training. So establishing clear performance metrics from the outset can help track progress and demonstrate the typical value of what it is. And finally, you have some issues that come up with regulatory compliance. As AI technologies evolve rapidly, keeping up with the changing regulations related to data privacy and security becomes increasingly complex. Organizations must typically ensure that their AI implementations comply with all relevant laws to avoid legal repercussions. So to conclude this particular discussions on challenges in adopting AI for decision making, I will say, while the potential benefits of adopting AI for decision making are vital, are substantial, Organizations must typically, navigate a range of challenges to realize these advantages fully. All these issues which you have discussed, by addressing them, it could be related to strategy, it could be related to data quality, it could be related to integration, which you have talked about, or skills shortage, or reliability, ethics, what we have seen, the problem with the culture, the cost, the ROI measurement, and even to a certain extent regulatory compliance. Businesses can enhance their chances of successful AI adoption and leverage its capabilities effectively in decision making processes, period. So this is what, even though there are a lot of challenges, I would want to have a final word on that. So this is what we have seen in terms of the challenges in adopting AI for decision making. Now let's look into the future trends in AI-driven decision making, what we have in store, or at least what I would like to predict is going to happen. Maybe this is quite the initial stage to predict, but again, on a holistic understanding of what is coming up, we can have a list of these. But again, this could not be, or this would not be, an exhaustive list by any considerations. So the first one would be enhanced predictive analytics, no doubt about it. This would be the first and foremost future trend. AI will increasingly leverage advanced algorithms, there is no doubt about it, and machine learning to provide, accurate forecast, allowing businesses to actually anticipate the market shifts. They can give customer preferences or even try to mitigate the operational bottlenecks. Another significant trend could be the real-time decision making, which is again the crux of today's discussion. With the rise of edge computing, AI systems will process data close to the source. So what happens is that it will enable immediate decision making, and it certainly reduces the latency. So this crucial aspect is critical in sectors like finance or healthcare or autonomous vehicles, which need immediate response. Another significant trend could be the integration of explainable AI. We'll talk about in detail about explainable AI in the coming modules, but to put things into perspective here, as AI systems take on more decision-making roles, the need for transparency will grow, there is no doubt about it. So explainable AI will make it easier to understand how algorithms arrive at decisions, fostering trust among users and stakeholders. There's another possible future trend of collaborative AI systems, which is coming up big time. Future AI will typically operate in tandem with the human decision makers. So this is very powerful also, if you ask me, creating a synergy that enhances productivity. So these collaborative systems will provide suggestions and insights while allowing human users to maintain control over the final outcomes. And possibly another trend could be ethical and responsible AI, because a lot of people are nowadays talking and discussing about it. There will be a significant push towards developing these AI solutions that typically prioritize ethical considerations, ensuring decisions are made without bias and in compliance with regulations. So organizations will need to adopt frameworks for responsible AI use. When we look into future trends, we also have to understand the autonomous decision-making agents. AI systems typically will evolve to make autonomous decisions in specific contexts. It could be, as I've already touched upon, supply chain, or the optimization of supply chain, or financial trading, potentially leading to faster and more efficient operations and decisions. Adaptive learning systems could be another important aspect that could come up. AI-driven decision making will become more dynamic as systems learn and adapt from previous outcomes. So this typically will allow, at least I feel, that organizations to refine strategies in real-time basis based on the historical data and evolving circumstances. There could be cross-industry applications. As we talk about cross-functional, there could be cross-industry applications. AI-driven decision-making tools will be increasingly adopted across various industries. So we will be seeing them. So we'll be seeing them from healthcare diagnostics to, let's say, automated financial advising. So we could see a range of cross-industry applications that could come up in the future. So this cross-pollination of AI applications will undoubtedly foster innovation and efficiency. Another significant aspect could be the increased focus on data privacy. When you are looking into AI, one of the biggest concerns which we have touched upon, which we have discussed, is the data privacy aspect. So when you look into that, heightened awareness of these concerns, of specifically the data privacy concerns, AI systems will integrate more robust privacy preserving techniques. It could be something like federated learning. We'll discuss that later, federated learning. Or something like allowing organizations to analyze data without compromising on individual privacy. So that could be something that come up a big time in terms of increased focus on data privacy. Another significant trend could be the human AI hybrid teams. This is again the speculation which I'm making. The future will see the formation of human AI hybrid teams where AI tools typically complement the human expertise. So these teams, if I can call them, these typical teams will enhance creativity and problem solving in complex scenarios. Other significant future trends in AI driven decision making would be scenario simulation and modeling techniques. AI will provide organizations with advanced capabilities for scenario analysis, allowing for better evaluation of potential outcomes through simulations and something like what if scenarios. That could also be come up, or that could also be discussed in the future. There could be integration with IoT devices. When you are looking into AI decision making, it will increasingly rely on data from IoT devices. That will lead to smarter environments. Let's take an example. Smart manufacturing systems can make real-time adjustments based on the production data. So if, let's say, the system itself is smart, then the projections and the final manufacturing process in generally could be more efficient. That could be another future trend, or quantified business insights could be a future trend. AI will enable organizations to derive quantifiable insights from unstructured data. It could be something like social media sentiment, or driving decisions that are based on broader understanding of market conditions. Also, there is a possibility of AI governance and regulations, as I touched upon previously. When you are looking into AI systems itself, it has become integral to decision making. There is no doubt about that. When you are looking into that in frameworks for governance and regulation, this is also becoming essential to ensure accountability and the ethical use of AI. And finally, we have the possibility coming up for augmented intelligence. What is that? The shift from purely automated decision making to augmented intelligence will allow human decision makers to leverage AI insights while retaining the cognitive functions that typically the machines cannot replicate in general. It could be something like, let's say, if you ask me, empathy. Very difficult for the machines to replicate that, or something like ethical judgment. So to conclude all this discussion with respect to the benefits of AI in general, AI technology or the future trends, we see that there could be a possibility of new paradigm that is coming in, a paradigm which defines certain strategies, a paradigm which defines certain way or approaches to go ahead. So please note, in this session we have discussed about the decision making process, how AI can actually help or facilitate the decision making process, how it will be bringing its own different flavors of decision making. We have seen a lot of possibilities. We have discussed upon the challenges, we have discussed upon the benefits, and we have also looked into the possible future trends. So most of these things we'll discuss in greater detail in the coming modules also. But please note that as it is generally understood, decision making process is one of a significant aspect in human resource management. A person gets empowered, or that feeling of being empowered comes in when you are part of a decision. You are part of a decision making body. Because of you, this rule has come out, or you are part of this particular policy making or rule. There is nothing a better feeling than that. So when you are looking into decision making, many a time what happens, if it is only within the hands of human beings, there are possibilities of biasness, there are possibilities of favoritism, there are possibilities of stereotyping. All these biases, inherent biases, may come into picture, and AI could be a solution for all these biases, or to mitigate all these problems. This should be the general takeaway from this session. We'll come up with more details in the coming sessions. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.